My name is Rob Wilson, and what do I do here? I'm the instrumental music director here at Murray High.
But listen, you can learn anything, okay? You just have to practice. First of all, you gotta learn it, and then you gotta practice it. So when people say to me, they're like, "Do you know this?" It's like, well, no, I don't know right now, but I can learn. You know, I can figure it out. Because really, when you get to a certain point, it's not like you can't play it. You just have to learn how to play it. You know, because you got the technique, you got the chops to do it.
Seeing him in the teacher's lounge, and he was sick, and I asked him why he was here at school when I knew he was struggling, and he said because he loved teaching and he wanted to be with his students because it made him feel better to be here.
Everybody's heard that, like that's like a signature lick from Johnny B. Good, right?
I've known Rob Wilson for 20 years, since I started teaching here at Murray High. And from the moment I met Rob, I thought he was just a fantastic guy. What an inspirational teacher, a well-liked teacher, just an all-around good guy. But I think that these past 6 years, as we watched Rob battle and fight against cancer, is when his true colors, for me anyway, really started to show.
And the thing I love about Rob was just his positive attitude. Even when he was suffering, you wouldn't have known it because he was so light on his feet and just positive all the time. That's really the thing I hope to emulate in my life from Mr. Wilson.
Last year in orchestra, I remember Mr. Wilson would always yell at each section, the cellos, the violas, the second violins, the first violins, and the bass, to get their part right, and he would always be persistent on us getting it right. And I remember one time he was getting mad at us about tempo, and he was hitting his baton on the stand so hard that his baton broke, and we had to stop class for a couple minutes because we were all laughing so hard and how funny it was. And it was just really great seeing Mr. Wilson laughing and having a great time with us, and it was always awesome.
Those who didn't know Wilson should probably know that he had one of the most driest senses of humor on the planet of Earth. If you came up with something really witty, he would give you a blank stare. And when he came up with one of his lame jokes that he probably said year after year, and maybe got a little snicker out of the crowd, he would be the happiest little fella you've ever seen. So an example of this story was back in the days of Pitt when we were performing The Sound of Music. We were down in the pit, and I imagine being on the stage, the actors could only see the top of his head and a little bit of his baton that he led the stage with. So when Mr. Wilson asked, "Can you guys see me all right up there?" one of the actors replied to him, "Yeah, we can see your wand," and Mr. Wilson just sat there dumbfounded.
He quickly got the instrumental program back in gear. It went forward like gangbusters. Great jazz man, great percussionist, and it was so fun to hear about during Sundance Film Festival, all the gigs he would play and all the people that would be there.
My favorite memory of Wilson was once we were playing in a band with Trent Harrison and I, and we were playing Hot for Teacher, and then Wilson comes out of nowhere, and he's like, "Harrison, give me the guitar, you're playing it wrong. This is just bugging me." Picks up the guitar and shreds the beginning of Hot for Teacher without even trying. It was just incredible. I didn't even know he could play guitar.
It was a few years ago. This was back when he had his really long hair, and it was back in a ponytail. I guess during concerts, he really liked to flip his hair all the time, and there were a few students who decided to count how many times he flipped his hair, and I think they got up to like 56.
Mr. Wilson, pull your hair down.
I don't think so.
Like in San Antonio, let's go. Yeah.
You know that waits until the trip.
Only if there's something worthwhile here.
Oh,
Mr. Wilson, pull your hair down. Put your hair out. Wilson, 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 Wilson.
Keep it down back there.
I want to hear the story. Short attention spans. This sitting here is getting old. Come on, tell us the story.
Tell me about it.
What?
You guys can keep each other entertained.
Tell us the story. I've never heard this icy road in Colorado story.
What are you talking about?
There's some skiing trip in Colorado, and there's some icy road. Like, there's a story.
Oh, that's a long story.
Oh yeah, on the way from
Texas.
We got some time. Yeah, we got some time.
We got plenty of time.
Well, I've heard it 5 times.
I know, it's great. It's a great story. We want to hear it right
You guys
now.
can tell each other your own
Tell them the
stories.
one about you golfing every morning. 5.
What? I know. I don't golf
When
every
you used
day.
to work at the golf course.
You worked at the golf course.
When you were 17.
Back in the day. You're laughing.
When I was 17.
We're all like crowded around her. Look at this crowd here. We're all like waiting for you. Come on. Tell us the story. When I was 17.
How about tell us the story?
You're not my team.
When you borrowed your fiance's car and you almost broke it.
Tell us the story.
Hey, sounds like something that happened.
I didn't almost break it.
I mean, the cinder blocks almost came off the truck and hit it.
No, they did come off the truck. They just almost hit it.
What?
Hey, tell us how.
Elaborate on the
how
story.
your
Mr. Wilson was hired a year after I was, and I remember when they hired him, the talk throughout the halls and the talk in the town, the buzz was about how Mr. Tranter hired somebody with a ponytail. But weren't we ever fortunate to have someone like him among us with such a dedicated passion for excellence? He was a true professional all around, and we are better for having known him. And of course, there couldn't be a better example than when his greatest challenge came. He faced it in true Rob fashion, dedicated, hardworking, and professional. It seemed nothing could deter him from that pursuit, even in the most trying of times. There will be a hole at Murray High School for some time to come, but Mr. Wilson's legacy will continue as he courageously demonstrated in our striving for excellence here.
I'm in awe of what he did, showing up here day after day to school. And I don't think any of us here at Murray High really appreciated just what it meant for him to get out of the car and come into the building every day. We were certainly glad he did that, and we were certainly glad he was here, but I don't think we understood just how difficult that was for him. Even though Rob is gone now, I think that what he accomplished over the past 6 years was still a miracle, and that he defied the odds, and that he stayed here with us, and we got that time with him.
So you like Mr. Wilson?
He's a cool guy. He's my favorite teacher in the whole school.
and you feel like no one knows what it's like to be the only one buried in this hole.